Welcome to the Kitchen Remodel Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Robin Johnson, and I can't wait to chat with you about one of the most exciting topics ever. Kitchen design, right? I mean, who doesn't dream of remodeling their kitchen? Friends, if you're looking to up-level the most important room in your home, I am so glad you're here. As an award-winning designer of over 20 years, kitchens are my absolute favorite room in the house. Join me to discover the latest design trends, color palettes, and what you should know when it comes to choosing a layout, cabinetry, appliances, and so much more. With hundreds of decisions to be made and thousands of dollars on the line, you won't want to miss an episode. Let's get started. Well, hello there, and welcome to today's podcast, where I'm thrilled to be interviewing one of the sweetest clients that I've worked with yet, Miss Christie Streetman. Christie and her husband, Bert, currently live in a town outside of Houston, Texas. And in 2024, I believe, they decided to purchase a beautiful home just off the ocean in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. And I just checked, Christie, my calendar, and our first design consult was on May 29th of 2024. So
Yeah.
here we are, like 15 months later, and we're so close. So close.
Yay!
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for being brave enough to join me today and to share your remodel experience, because so many people out there are living in dated homes and would love to hear about how your experience went, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So let's start at the very beginning, and maybe you can share what brought you and Bert to the Pawleys Island area and why you guys decided to purchase a home here.
Well, we actually bought the home in 2021 as an investment property. Um, and my parents live in Pawleys Island. They've been there for 35 years. It's home for me. I was born in Georgetown, and we always knew that we would end up back in the area. But because of some health issues, we kind of pushed up the one day we'll be living in the house calendar, and we decided to go ahead and start making it our own so that we could utilize it while I'm doing caretaking duties with the family.
Well, that's important. I'm glad you guys were able to be here for sure.
Yeah.
So after you purchased this home, so you waited a couple years and then decided to remodel. What kind of went on in that time frame?
Well, we had long-term tenants in the home. We had two lovely families that occupied the house for us. And we were going to continue down that road, but we just decided with the changes that were happening at home that we probably would need a home base sooner rather than later. So we knew that there were some minor structural issues. We thought minor structural issues with the house, but when our tenants moved out in June of last year, we decided to address those and then found out that they weren't so minor. And then while we were in there digging around, we just decided now's the time to go ahead and put our stamp on the house.
So the structural issues were mainly the exterior porch that sat just off the kitchen, right?
Yes, the pilings had started to sink over time. The house was built in 1998, and it had been through a couple of reiterations over the years. So, we had to address the structural issues, the porch, the sagging roof, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was one thing after another. But the good thing about losing the breakfast porch was that I was able to gain a very beautiful and functional pantry.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So I remember too, I remember from our first meeting, you were pretty flexible, but you knew that you wanted a larger kitchen, you needed more countertop space, and you liked the idea of ceiling beams.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I want a coffee bar, a microwave drawer,
Mm-hmm.
a pot filler,
Mm-hmm.
a wine refrigerator, and then you were really keen on turning that exterior porch into a pantry. So, oh, and then the other thing I know that was we kind of worked the design around was you had picked out you and Bert like to cook, and y'all had picked out a gorgeous La Cornue range
Yes.
that you were like, design the kitchen around this.
Yes. Yeah. That was a dream to have one of those one day, and we were finally able to make that happen. So it was a big part of the design of the kitchen.
Yes. And I remember, for anyone listening, a La Cornue range is a French line that you purchased from Williams Sonoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you were a little bit worried because there weren't any local dealers here, but they assured you that they had reps that could come service it if there were any issues, and so you moved forward with it.
Yes, yes, yeah. I was able to buy the range in Charleston.
Okay.
So there are lots of regional servicemen that will drive miles and miles and miles to come and repair those stoves,
As they should,
as they
as you
should.
pay.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a project budget in mind when you started out? And do you feel like you ended up anywhere near your goal budget?
Well, we did have a goal budget in mind, but because we decided to do prettier things and fancier things, and this is going to be our forever home. There are a lot of things that you don't think about when you're going into a remodel. The cost of door handles and drawer pulls and things like that. So certainly I could have made some different choices, but we were in line with what we wanted to spend. But to say that we were, it was a budget friendly budget would not be completely
Right.
accurate.
And it was really large. So just for everyone listening, so you guys did totally gutted the kitchen,
Yep.
um, revamped the powder bath, like we're up leveling the powder bath. We redid the laundry room space because it was really just not functional. It was basically a closet with a washer and dryer and a oddly placed window, and it just was not functional, no storage.
Yep.
And then the entire master bathroom, which was big. We pretty much gutted that except we left the shower and that was about it.
That's it.
So, and then in addition, you had all the flooring in the house redone,
Hmm.
added paneling in the entryway and that lower bathroom. And I'm trying to think what else. Replace lighting, paint.
Yeah, we did paneling in the master. I mean,
Yeah.
in the primary bedroom in front of the fireplace. That's kind of rebuilding the fireplace. Yeah, there were a lot of extras that we added along the way. We opened up the rooms and added pocket doors, and to create more flow throughout the house. So there were a lot of things that we kind of metamorphosed as we went along, but they're all beautiful and functional to the house.
Especially between the dining room and the study. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, that was a wonderful idea.
Yeah. So, but getting back to the kitchen, after our initial design meeting, the next step for me was to go basically and create the new and improved layout for you. And I did this in 2D and 3D, which I think was really, really great for you to see because there was an oddly placed window in the kitchen. Remember on the back wall, and that was like really divided the whole room up. It was like kitchen on the right, breakfast on the left, and it really kind of squished the kitchen together. So we took out that window, and instead now your beautiful new hood and range are going to be the focal point of the room, and really extended the entire kitchen.
Yeah.
I would say the room is 70% kitchen now and 30% breakfast.
Exactly, exactly. It's a completely different space. It's beautiful. It's functional. It just flows and it makes a lot more sense.
It really does. How do you, from your perspective, how do you feel like the design process went and being able to see renderings in 2D and 3D?
That was the most helpful because Bert and I had ideas about what we liked, what we wanted to see, what were kind of our non-negotiables, but we had no idea where to start. So you have all these ideas in your head, we're not capable of putting it on paper or verbalizing it or visualizing it. So having the 3D renderings, I mean, all of them, but the 3D was particularly helpful for me because it really gave me an idea into seeing what the house, what the kitchen, what the spaces were going to look like in the future. So that was very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, yeah. Was there any part of the design process that you, or any design decisions along the way that you were kind of unsure about at first, but now you're really glad you did?
I can honestly say no. I can't think of anything that was suggested that I said, no, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. So I mean, the things that I didn't think of myself, like putting doorways in, and opening the kitchen into the dining room and into the living space. Those things I would have never dreamed of. So is there anything that I regret or that I just said absolutely not? No, I can't. I can't think of anything. And I gave it a lot of thought last night and couldn't think of anything.
Awesome. Well, that's good. That's good. Did you have a favorite part of the design process between like the layout portion and then there's all the material selections? Was there a favorite part for you?
Well, I really like picking out the pretties. So, but it can be very overwhelming. So the fact that you helped by narrowing the scope of my desires by giving me options to choose from versus just saying, here's a book, go pick it out, was very helpful to me.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed kind of being able to be a part of creating the beauty of the space, the little touches. So that was really fun for me. That was fun
And
for
I'm
me.
thinking in particular like of light fixtures. So like for the kitchen, I may have picked like three or four different options for pendant lights. And then you kind of had fun looking around too. And then we agreed on one and went from there.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was like the most fun. I love lights. I have a thing about lights. So I just kind of, I like looking at them. I like shopping for them, but I had no idea where to start.
Yeah.
So that was most helpful and a lot of fun. So yeah, paint, I'm not so good with paint.
Paint can be tough. Paint can be tough.
Yeah.
What about, so you guys obviously you were lucky in that you were able to do this remodel while you were living in Texas and you were kind of back and forth and you would stay at your mom and dad's house. So you were
Mhm.
not living through the actual construction. Could you imagine if you had tried to, or what are your thoughts on living through construction?
If you have an option to not have to live through it, that's great. But in reality, most situations you're going to be living in your house. I think probably, and I thought about this last night. You would have you have to have a really good rapport with your contractor because the condition that they leave the house in when they leave for the day is super, super important. It could be a very stressful situation because there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of dust, there's a lot of mess. So I think that would be a very important thing to keep into perspective. But then just trying to, I don't know, just trying to keep it to one room at a time, one project at a time versus it being the entire house.
Mhm. Yeah, and you did a lot. You did do a lot. You had a big versus just like someone who's just maybe remodeling their kitchen.
Correct.
But that's a really good point because your contractor, I love. He's amazing,
Hmm.
and he has the cleanest job site like that I've ever seen. I mean, when you come in that project, it is spotless at all times. He's so organized,
Yep.
and he's also so thoughtful about when he could come over and just. You definitely want to find a contractor that you have a good relationship with that is going to be respectful of your home and of your personal space.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're in it a lot.
A lot.
A
A
lot.
lot. Is there anything that has taken longer than you thought it would, time-wise?
A lot of it has to do with shipment of needed items. Not so much the work per se. It took us a long time to get this project off the ground because of all of the structural issues that we had to address. We had to replace 45 windows and porch doors. So that was a very long lead up to the actual remodel. But I think there were issues with door shipments. Doors taking longer to come in, waiting for plumbing and electrical work to get roughed in before they could proceed with everything has a cadence.
Hmm.
So until you get certain things done, then other things can't happen.
Right. The
So
domino effect. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so you just have to kind of build into your reality check, extra time because
Mhm.
as much as you want it to be done, then there are holdups.
Yeah,
So
there will always be holdups. But I think that one of the good things about your project was we had all those materials selected at the get-go. And so
mhm.
like we had, everything was ready when the contractor needed it, which was great.
Yeah, because things are really moving now.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
quickly. So it's
Yeah.
just, once it started, it's really started rolling. So
Yeah.
it
I mean,
was just,
we're down to getting countertops templated, your lighting fixtures installed, plumbing installed, and your hardware. So,
yeah.
so close.
Yeah. Happy.
Now that you're about 90% of the way there, what parts of the remodel are you most excited to see come together?
My kitchen and my pantry, obviously, because I've got about 90 boxes of goods to unpack that have been sitting there since June of last year. So I want to unpack my boxes so I can remember what I had. But I mean, really, you know, now that the counter, I guess it's really the cabinets. Now that the cabinets have gone in and that they've been installed, it made it easier for me to see what the spaces are going to actually look like. I can see it now. So it's the kitchen and the pantry. Obviously, I really want those rooms to be done as fast as possible. But yeah, I mean, just the whole house, really.
Yeah, you're so close. Are there any small design details that you think that people overlook but really made a difference in your space?
I can tell you what I think is going to make a difference, and that's in cabinet outlets. For me, because I do like to cook. I have a lot of small gadgets, and I think having a designated space where I can just plug them in and use them where they are versus having to move things around the kitchen will be very, very helpful. But also under cabinet lighting, to me, that just makes a space so much prettier and um, cozy, and it just gives a lot of ambiance, you know.
Yes.
And so that's I think I'm not there yet. I'm not living in the space yet, but I know that it makes a big difference. I have that in my townhome here, and I just love that element. And it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the pot filler is going to be a game changer too for you over the stove.
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and I've never had one. So this is the first time that I will. Most everybody that I know, is particularly our friends in Louisiana. Everybody has a pot filler because you need that for your gumbos.
Yeah.
But I've never had one. So I think not having to lug a heavy pot of water from the sink to the stove is going to be a miracle.
Right. It's going to be nice. And the other thing I think that was really interesting that we did for you was you said that you guys love to go to get fresh produce at the farmer's market. And so we put in some sub-zero refrigerator drawers in your pantry that is strictly going to be for fresh, market items. So I think that's going to be really, really great.
Yep, I think so too. I think so too. We never have enough room in the produce drawers in the refrigerator. So that was a way to eliminate it. And I have to be honest, I didn't even know that that was an option until you and I started talking about it. And you're like, wait, what about refrigerator drawers? Who knew? Who knew? Microwave drawer too, because I've never had a microwave drawer. So I think that that's going to be another game changer because you know, swinging a microwave door out at hip level is always kind of awkward. So I think that's going to be a really nice feature to have in the kitchen too.
Do you have any advice that you would offer someone who is just starting out on a kitchen or a bath remodel?
If you don't have confidence in the process from beginning to end, hire a professional. I mean, really, because it can be very overwhelming to try to wrangle all of your wish list and choices and selections. I have several friends who said, "Oh, I can do this. I can remodel my bathroom. I've got my kitchen covered." And it's just it can be very overwhelming, and you can make really costly design mistakes when you're trying to do it on your own. So I would just say find a designer that you have a good rapport with and that kind of shares your vision, and hire that person.
Agree 100%. Absolutely. If you had to describe your new kitchen in 3 words, how would you describe it?
Beautiful, functional, and happy. It's going to be a happy space. It's going to be a happy space.
Yes, it is. So
Yep.
you also had picked out a really fun wallpaper. It was a Schumacher, wasn't it? It
Mm-hmm.
was like a bird wallpaper, and it had like it was a white background with like a black kind of a vine, I guess, running through it, and really colorful, like some birds on there. And that was also part of our inspiration. So that wallpaper is going to be in a little hallway between the main foyer of the house and the kitchen. And so we were able to run a lot with the color palette for the house and kind of play off that black and white and then your black stove. So that's going to be stunning. That's going to be happy for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like my little bird cage.
Yeah.
Birds and butterflies going into the kitchen. It's going to be just lovely.
Amazing. And then the last question I have for you is if you had the opportunity, like whatever reason you had to move and sell this house, would you do it all over again?
Without a doubt.
Wow. That says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if my husband would agree to that answer. I think he says no more next time we're, buying a lock and leave. So I don't know if that's the way he feels. But I kind of looked at him the other night and said, well, what are we going to do now for fun?
I'm going to have all
So,
this time on my hands.
yeah, what am I going to do now? But I mean, yeah, I would do it all over again. Maybe not on such a big scale. I don't know if I would want to tackle what we've tackled in the course of the last 15 months, but it's quite rewarding and a lot of fun to put your stamp in the space that you live. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we've had a lot of fun and we've worked together quite a bit. So it's always kind of sad when projects end because I'm so used to talking to people all the time. And then it's like, oh, let's go get lunch. Let's go get lunch. Let's go get coffee and catch up.
Yeah, come over to my house.
Yeah, well, come enjoy your new space. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you today and, share with everyone your experience in remodeling. And it sounds like it was really a positive one overall, which I'm thrilled. That's my goal. So, is there anything else you want to add or can think of?
No, I'm just looking forward to living in the space and entertaining in the space and having family time in the space. So thank you for making that all happen.
You're so welcome. Friends, I hope you enjoyed today's Behind the Build client interview. Taking on a remodel project of this size, especially, is no small feat, and I am so excited for Christie and Bert to get moved into their new home sooner than later. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for tuning in to the Kitchen Remodel Made Easy podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or share your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. Head over to my Instagram page at Robin Johnson Interiors and send me a DM. If you're curious how to get started on your own remodeling journey, well, I have a free resource for you that you can download called the Kitchen Remodel Starter Kit in the show notes below, or you can head to my website and grab it there on the front page. Friends, if you enjoyed today's podcast and you can't wait to hear more, please leave a raving review to help others find me. And if you didn't, well, don't worry about it. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back soon for more kitchen design conversations. Thanks for tuning in to